Great catching up with Neil Magny, who's got another fight coming up here. Michael Morales, UFC Fight Night, August 24th. Neil, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I got to be honest, I figured we were going to see you in the cage a little bit sooner than this. I also figured you wouldn't be at the Apex. Were you surprised it took this long, or was this the right amount of time off?
Yeah, I was really surprised it took this long in order for this fight to come through, especially with UFC Denver being here just a week ago. I for sure thought that I would get an opportunity to compete in Denver, but for some reason that just kind of fell through. But here we are. We have a huge fight set up for August 24th, and I'm ready to make that walk again.
Was there any talks about Denver at all? Did you ever discuss that with them? I'm sure you pitched it, but did they ever, I guess they never got back to you or no?
No, just one of those things. Like, if I'm being honest, there was just like a lot of transitioning going on in my personal life, professional life, and that kind of thing. Where I was still training, but I wasn't training in a position where I felt like if I needed to, I can like throw together training camp and get it done. But I wasn't necessarily in a position, my personal life, my professional life, where I felt like I can really comfortably say, all right, cool, I'm in training camp now. There's a lot of moving pieces that I had to adjust and figure out over the last few months. And if I was being honest with myself, if I would have fought in last week, I would have kind of been like forcing a training camp together and find a way to get it done. I have a bit more time to prepare that, but I just in a great space where a lot of the dust is settled. I'm in a routine now. Everything is going well. So effective time for this fight is actually better than a Denver card. I have loved to have fought at home, quote unquote.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, sometimes things work out for the better, which is great. Were there any other opponents in the mix, or was it always Morales? Because I guess I'm kind of looking at your last fight against Mike Malott. We talked about this before that one. I mean, Mike's a Canadian guy. Obviously, I think if the UFC had it their way, the Canadian guy would have won. And now you're kind of fighting another prospect here in Morales. Does that bother you, or how do you sort of look at the booking of this matchup?
No, not at all. I mean, at the end of the day, it's another opportunity for me to go out there and show what I'm made of. I mean, if you look at the fight on paper, it's like, a 36-year-old against a 25-year-old. This is a very interesting matchup. But at the end of the day, if I go out there and hang with the best of the guys in the division, even the new, young, upcoming talent, listen that I'm here for a long time. Listen that I'm here to actually keep climbing the ranks, keep moving forward, and eventually get that bigger ranked fight that's going to get what I want out of my career.
And I kind of talked over my own question, which is a rookie mistake. I don't normally do it, but were there any other opponents in the mix? Were there any other opponents you knew of, or was it always Morales?
No, to be honest with you, I honestly thought that a fight against Joaquin Buckley would be something that would be
Yeah.
more likely. Just based on where he was in the rankings, where I was in the rankings, the time frame where he and I fought, and that kind of thing. So I definitely thought a fight against him would be more likely, but for some reason or other, whether it be where he's at or you see having different plans, wherever it may be, that fight never matured. But here we are.
Have you been kind of seeing what's going on social media? Not recently, but obviously Buckley saying that he's better than GSP and all this. Did you see any of that stuff that was going on? Because I know him and Cub Swanson actually went back and forth on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, we live in an unfortunate time in MMA where it's one thing to go out there and fight, but it's another thing to go out there and just keep the buzz around your name. And unfortunately, for a lot of guys in our sports, they'll say whatever it is on the top of their mind, not because they actually do believe it, not because they actually feel that way necessarily, but just to keep the buzz around their name and get people talking about them. I mean, I know for a fact that Bucky doesn't believe he was better than GSP or even close to for that matter. But it was something to for him to say, to get the buzz going around his name and get his name in the media, and for him it worked. So I can see why he did it. I don't honestly believe that he truly believes that, but it definitely paid off to kind of throw it out there and keep your name circulating.
Let's talk about Morales, 16-0 record. How do you feel like stylistically you match up against him here?
Great. I thought my match was great against Morales. I mean, he's a very well-rounded fighter, predominantly a striker. He's another tall, rangy fighter as well. So I feel like I matched up against him great. I mean, I know in fights prior, I was like, oh yeah, the experience didn't carry you through. But I realized in recent fights, that experience doesn't mean nothing necessarily. At the end of the day, I'm only as good as my last fight. I'm only as good as my last training camp. So even though I quote unquote had the experience when it comes to fighting a guy like Michael Morales, I know for a fact is what I put into this training camp that's going to determine the outcome of this fight come August 24th.
Training camp, anything different? Obviously, you're at one of the best gyms in the world. By the way, I heard the name changed or something. Corey Sandhagen was telling me this. What's your gym called now?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few changes. I mean, Elevation Fight Team, as you know it, for the last 10, 11 years
Yeah,
now,
it's been a while.
is officially over with. I mean, the band has been dismantled, so to speak. So it's a lot of moving pieces. I currently do not train with the team formerly known as Elevation Fight Team.
Okay.
I believe now they're going by Forge Fight Club Denver or
Forge Fight
something like
Club. Yeah, yeah, okay.
but yeah, a lot of changes last year as far as what was Elevation Fight Team, who was involved with Elevation Fight Team, who the coaches were with Elevation Fight Team, and that kind of thing. I'm grateful for all those guys. I mean, the training partners, the coaches, the facilities, everything that group of individuals have done for me in my career thus far. I'm definitely grateful for it, but it just reached a point in our lives, in our careers, in everything where different coaches, different athletes kind of had a different idea of where they wanted things to go. So for her, in easier of putting it, the band has been dismantled and everyone's striving their own way. I mean, the guys at Forge are doing great things. I'm currently training at Pound for Pound with a couple of guys that were part of Elevation Fight Team, but my relationship with the athletes stays the same. My relationship with the coaches stays pretty respectful. So for the most part, life is good. Just went in a different direction as far as the team and where the team is trying to go.
So who are your coaches now? Just again, we don't need to get into the drama part of it or whatever. Even if I don't know if there is any, but obviously stuff switched up. But like, who are your coaches now, and who are your training partners? How have things changed a bit?
So I still have Christian Allen overseeing everything as far as my striking. My jiu-jitsu coach, Jared McCluskey, has been with me for the last 3 fights now. He's kind of stepping up to be like kind of a kind of a head coach role. He's a guy that kind of puts the logistics together of training camps. Like, all right, cool. What do your rounds look like? Who are you sparring with? What does your recovery look like? He's kind of checking in with all the different coaches and making sure that all the moving pieces are coming together. In addition to that, I added working with Justin Houghton, who's a longtime face of MMA here in Colorado. He moved here from Michigan about 12 years ago or so when I first moved here. He had a pretty good career in MMA, had a good career in K1 kickboxing. He's been running pound for pound Muay Thai out here in Colorado for a bit. Had a lot of success there with his guys there as well. In addition to that, I also work with Andrew Sanchez for wrestling as
Oh,
well.
nice, El Dirte. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I feel like adding those two to my coaching staff is gonna help a lot. I mean, even my last fight. I mean, before I even landed in Colorado, Andrew Sanchez was pointing out some wrestling mistakes that I made in the fight against Mike Malott that we need to work on immediately. So having that accountability from a coaching staff, having that kind of motivation from a coaching staff is where I like to be. I mean, it's difficult because when you do this sport for so long, you get to a point where some people feel hesitant to tell you how things are. It's kind of like, well, I want to tell Neil that he could do this better, if he could do this different, he could do this in another way. But who am I to say something? I mean, the guy has over 50 fights, 30 plus of being in the UFC, where some guys feel hesitant to kind of bring things to my attention. But having guys like Jared McCluskey, Christian Allen, Andrew Sanchez, and Justin Houghton in my corner now, those guys aren't hesitant to bring things to the surface at all. They see me lacking in a particular area, they're not afraid to adjust it. They see me making some consistent mistakes, they're not afraid to bring it to the surface. So having that level of accountability and professionalism around me doesn't permit me to go out there and have a great performance come August 24th.
What about training partners? I know back, when you were at Elevation, it was like Austin Hubbard and Justin Wetzel and those guys. Like, who are you working with now? Is it the same or is it different training partners now?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's the same. It's the same group of guys that I'm working with here in Colorado. I mean, I've been seeing it for a while here, where Colorado's a unique state in the sense that like we have several major MMA camps. I mean, you have what was Elevation Fight Team. You have places like Genesis Training Center. You have places like 53X. You have places like Pound Pound. You have places down in Colorado Springs where Raquel and Tisha spend most of the time training. So there's just a lot of different opportunities and training facilities available to us in Colorado. And one of the things that my head coach back when I first started UFC, Lisa Bowling had in mind was like he had a vision like having this open door policy where all of the athletes in Colorado had access to each other, be able to push each other to their best of their ability. Hey, look who's joined the interview.
Oh, nice. What's up, buddy?
Where all the athletes are to push themselves best to ability, having access to one another. And right now, it's kind of adapting that same model. I mean, I have a great relationship with a lot of the athletes that train here in Colorado. Give me 1 second, Mike. I'll be done in 5 minutes, okay? I'll be right back. Hey, don't do that.
There you
Don't do that.
That's
Don't do that. That's gross.
it.
All right, you want to sit with me? Yeah, you can sit with me. Hey,
I've been there, man. I gotta. I'm lucky. My kid's in summer camp right now, so otherwise he'd be busting down my door.
um,
So yeah. Anyways, yeah, you were just talking about the training partners. That's good. That's great. So
yeah, so right now it's the open door policy where everyone just comes together, puts in hard work. I mean, regardless of what their affiliation is, as far as like their gym and that kind of thing. I mean, honestly, we care less about it. At the end of the day, it's the best guys in Colorado getting together 3 times a week to push each other to the best of our abilities and make sure we do whatever it takes to make sure that our likelihood of success goes as high as possible.
this guy's a prankster like his dad. What's your son's name?
Hey, what's his dad back? Liam. This one is Liam.
Liam. Nice to meet you, man.
We say hi? No?
No,
Nah,
he's
you
shy.
want to be shy.
Yeah, my kid's the same way. There you go. There you go. Won't keep you too much longer. I know how it is this time of year with kids and stuff. Your corner, what will that look like for this fight?
So for the corner for this fight, we're gonna have Christian Allen, Justin Hoden, and Jeremy McCluskey present. I feel like that's a great recipe. I mean, these guys work well together. They're all on the same page as far as like what's expected of me throughout training camp, and they set the bar pretty high for what's expected of me come fight night. So I feel like the coaches are in great communication with each other. They have a great game plan set up, and they're able to hold me accountable day to day leading up to the fight. So I feel like that's a great recipe for success right there.
How's this fight playing out on August 24th? How do you see it going down?
Oh man, it seems like a great matchup. I'll go out there. I'm gonna go out there and test another young, undefeated, up-and-coming fighter. At the end of the day, my resilience is what's gonna propel me forward and show that I deserve to be fighting some of the best guys in the world. So I'm gonna go out there and be just relentless from beginning to end, and eventually get that finish.
We got obviously the title in your division next Saturday. Belal and Leon. How's that one going? How do you see that going down?
It's hard because like that fight, I won't be able to go with the Chicago guys. I mean, I know Belal and I are supposed to be quote unquote enemies. I mean, we're scheduled to fight each other in the amateurs back in Chicago early on in our pro careers, that kind of thing. But I would never be a hypocrite and root against an American. So I hope Belal's able to get it done for America, more so for Chicago. So they've had to ride with the hometown guy for that one.
And you think he wins? Got to ask that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's going to go out there and really put on a wrestling clinic and make it wrestling heavy and just kind of get the job done in 25 minutes of just control and inch his way to victory.
How many more fights do you have left in your contract? I was trying to remember that.
This is my 3rd fight of 4 of my current contract.
Okay, so kind of a big one because again, you win, you can renegotiate, right? So
for sure, yeah. So definitely huge. All stake odds at this point. I gotta go all day. Let's bet on myself and see how far I can take this thing.
What did you think of the Ian Garry MVP fight? Did you end up watching it?
Yeah, I watched it. I mean, it's one of those fights. It's a tough call. I mean, when you have so much time for a fight, every move you make has to be very calculated. Where had one guy, the other slipped up one way or the other, had MVP was able to stuff one takedown and change the outcome of the fight. Had Ian Garry missed one takedown, changed the outcome of the fight. And MVP landed one more significant strike, changed the outcome of the fight. So just one of those fights that's close going into it, and anything can literally happen. Where that fight literally came down to who made the least amount of mistakes. I mean, even some of the takedowns that Ian Garry was able to score on MVP, it didn't really come from like, I'm going to step a shot my strikes and feint and get in this way. It was off a caught kick or a slip or something like that, and he took full advantage of it. So it was a very close fight. I was definitely impressed with the grappling display that Ian Garry was able to pull out of that fight. I mean, it was. I definitely tip my hat to the performance that Ian Garry had. It's one of those fights that's very difficult to prepare for because if you go out there and try to do a little bit too much against like MVP, you end up waking up looking at the ceiling. So he fought a very smart fight, a very patient fight, and was able to get it done.
Neil, thanks for doing this. I'll let you get back to fatherhood. Really appreciate it. UFC Fight Night, August 24th. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Man, so as always, I'm always ask you guys to check out mission11.org. But more recently, Nate Marquardt, a former UFC fighter, has moved his family to Asia. And the goal with his family there was just kind of follow his passion. He wanted to be able to open up a school that's going to actually be able to teach kids about martial arts, be a teach school, an actual foundation when it comes to like education curriculum and that kind of thing, but also set a foundation with their religion as well. And he's been out there with his family for about a year or so, really putting in the groundwork to get that done. So if you guys are able to check out Nate Marquardt's social media and see what he's doing in Asia right now, it's a very interesting story. Very proud of him and the work he's done there. So if you guys have the opportunity, please check out Nate Marquardt and the work he's doing in Asia right now.